Faust. In the previous recording, we saw Faust meet Mephistopheles inside of his study. Faust had let the poodle follow him home, and the the poodle then morphed into Mephistopheles. After a brief introduction, Mephistopheles uh, has the spirits cast a sleeping spell on Faust, and Faust leaves into sleep. Mephistopheles escapes, and we now find Faust back in his study. He's awoken, and there is a knock at the door. Faust. A knock? Come in. Who's to plague me now? Mephisto. It is I. Faust. Come in. Mephisto. You have to say it thrice. Faust. Come in then. Mephisto. Now you're nice. We should get along well, I vow. To chase your spleen away, allow that I appear a noble squire. Look at my red and gold attire. A little cloak of silk brocade, the rooster's feather in my hat, and a long, nicely pointed blade. And now it is my counsel that you too should be like this arrayed. Then you would be feel released and free, and you would find what life can be. Faust. I shall not cease to feel in all attires the pains of our narrow earthly day. I am too old to be content to play, too young to be without desire. What wonders could the world reveal? You must renounce, you ought to yield. That is the never-ending drone, which we must our long life hear, which hoarsely all our hours intone, and grind into the weary ears. Frightened I waken to the dismal dawn, wish I had tears to drown the sun, and check the day that soon will scorn, my every wish fulfill not one. But if I think of any pleasure, bright critic day is sure to chide it, and if my heart creates itself a treasure, 1,000 mocking masks deride it. When night descends at last, I shall recline, but anxiously upon my bed. Though all is still, no rest is mine, as dreams enmesh my mind in dread. The God that dwells within my heart can stir my depths I cannot hide, rules all my powers with relentless art, but cannot move the world outside. And thus existence is for me a weight. Death is desirable, and life I hate. Mephisto. And yet, when death approaches, the welcome is not great. Faust. Oh, blessed whom, as victory advances, he lends the blood-drenched laurel's grace, who, after wildly whirling dances, receives him in a girl's embrace. Oh, that before the lofty spirit's power, I might have fallen to the ground unsoiled. Mephisto. And yet someone, in that same nightly hour, refused to drain a certain bowl. Faust. You seem to eavesdrop quite proficiently. Mephisto. Omniscient I am not, but there is much to see. Faust. As in that terrifying reeling, I heard the sweet familiar chimes that duped the traces of my childhood feeling with echoes of more joyous times. I now curse all the wood enamor, the human soul with lures and lies, enticing it with flattering glamour to live on in this cave of sighs. Curse it above all our high esteem, the spirit's smug self-confidence. Cursed be illusion, fraud, and dream that flatter our guileless sense. Cursed be the pleasing make-believe of fame and long posthumous life. Cursed be possessions that deceive, as slave and plow and child and wife. Cursed too be mammon when treasures he spurns on to daring feats, or lures us into slothful pleasures with sumptuous cushions and smooth sheets. A curse on wine that mocks our throats, a curse on love's last consummations, a curse on hope. Faith too be cursed, and cursed above all else be patience. We now hear a choir of spirits. The spirits are invisible. Alas, you have shattered the beautiful world with brazen fist. It falls, it is scattered, by a demigod destroyed. We are trailing the ruins into the void, and wailing over beauty undone. And ended, earth's mighty sun, more splendid. Rebuild it, that you are that strong. Build it again within, and begin a new life, a new way, lucid and gay, and play new songs. Mephisto. These are the small ones of my thrall. Hear how precociously they plead for pleasure indeed, to worldly strife from your lonely life, which dries up sap and sense that would lure you hence. Stop playing with your melancholy. that like a vulture ravages your breast. The worst of company still cures this folly, for you are human with the rest. Yet that is surely not to say that you should join the herd you hate. I am not one of the great, but if you would make your way, though the world with me united, I should surely be delighted to be yours, as of now, your companion, if you allow, and if you like the way I behave, I shall be your servant or your slave. Faust. And in return, what do you hope to take? Mephisto. There's so much time, so why insist? Faust. No, no. The devil is an egoist. It would not just for heaven's sake turn into a philanthropist. Make your conditions very clear. Where such a servant lies, danger is near. Mephisto. Here! You shall be the master. I be bond. And at your nod I'll work incessantly. But when we meet again beyond, then you shall do the same for me. Faust. Of the beyond I have no thought. When you reduce this world to naught, the other one may have its turn. My joys come for this earth, and there, that sun has burnt on my despair. Once I have left those, I don't care. What happens is of no concern. I do not even wish to hear whether beyond they hate and love, and whether in that other sphere, one realm's below and one above. Mephisto. So minded, dare it cheerfully. Commit yourself, and you shall see. My arts with joy I'll give you more than any man has ever seen before. Faust. What would you, wretched devil, offer? Was ever a man's spirit in its noble striving grasped by your like, devilish scoffer? But have you food that is not satisfying, red gold that rolls off without rest, quicksilver like over your skin? A game in which no man can win, a girl who, lying at my breast, ogles to entice the neighbor, an honor that perhaps seems best, though like a comet it will turn to vapor. Show me fruit that, before we pluck them, rot, in tree whose foliage every day makes new. Mephisto. Such a commission scares me not. With such things I can wait on you. But, worthy friend, the time comes when we would recline in peace and feast on something good. Faust. If ever I recline, calmed on a bed of sloth, you may destroy me then and there. If ever flattering you should wile me, that in myself I find delight, if with enjoyment you beguile me, then break on me, eternal night. This bed I offer. Mephisto. I accept it. Faust. Right. If to the moment I should say, abide you are so fair, put me in fetters on that day. I wish to perish then, I swear. Then let the death bell ever toll. Your service done, you shall be free. The clock may stop, the hand may fall, as time comes to an end for me. Mephisto. Consider it, for we shall not forget it. Faust. That is a right you need not waive. I did not boast, and I shall not regret it. As I grow stagnant, I shall be a slave, whether or not to be anyone indebted. Mephisto. And to the doctor's banquet tonight I'll shed dew. My duty is as a servant without fail. But for life's sake or death's just one detail, could you give me a line or two? Faust. You pedant need it on black on white? Are man and a man's words indeed new to your sight? Is not my spoken word sufficient warrant when it commits my life eternally? Does not the world rush in on every torrent, and a mere promise should hold me? Yet this illusion our heart inherits, and who would want to shirk his debt? Blessed who counts loyalty among his merits, no sacrifice will he regret. And yet a parchment signed in seals is an abhorrent spectre that haunts us, and it makes us fret. The world dies when we seize the pen, and wax and leather lord it then. What evil spirit do you ask? Paper or parchment, stone or brass? Should I use chisel, style, or quill? It is completely up to you. Mephisto. Why get so hot and overdo your rhetoric? Why must you shrill? Use any sheet, it is the same, and with a drop of blood you sign your name. Faust. If you are sure you like this game, let it be done to humor you. Mephisto. Blood is a very special juice. Faust. You need not fear that some day I retract, that all my striving I unloose, is the whole purpose of the pact. Oh, I was puffed up all too boldly, at your rank only is my place. The lofty spirit spurned me coldly, and nature hides me from her face. Torn is the subtle thread of thought, I loathe the knowledge I once sought, in sensuality's abysmal land. Let our passions drink their fill. In magic veils not pierced by skill, let every wonder be at hand. Plunged into time's whirl that dazes my senses, into the torrent of events, and let enjoyment, distress, annoyance, and success succeed each other as best they can. For relentless activity proves a man. Mephisto. You are not bound by goal or measure. If you would nibble everything, or snatch up something on the wing, you're welcome to give what gives you pleasure, but help yourself and don't be coy. Faust. Do you not hear I have no thought of joy? The reeling whirl I seek, the most painful excess, enamored hate and quickening distress, cured from the craving to know all my mind, shall not henceforth be closed to any pain, and what is portioned out to all mankind, I shall enjoy deep in myself, contain within my spirit summit and abyss, pile on my breast their agony and bliss, and thus let my own self grow into theirs unfettered, till as they are, at last I too am shattered. Mephisto. Believe me, who for many a thousand year has chewed this cud and never rested, that from the cradle to the bier, the ancient leaven cannot be digested. Trust one like me, this whole array is for a god, there's no contender. He dwells in his eternal splendor. To darkness we had to surrender, and you need night as well as day. Faust. And yet it is my will. Mephisto. It does sound bold. But I'm afraid, though you are clever, time is too brief, though art's forever. Perhaps you are willing to be told. Why don't you find yourself a poet, and let the gentleman ransack his dreams? And when he finds a noble trait, let him bestow it upon your worthy head in reams and reams. The lion's daring, the swiftness of the hind, the northerner's forbearing, and the Italian's fiery mind. Let him resolve the mystery, how craft can be combined with magnanimity, or how a passion-crazed young man might fall in love after a plan. If there were such a man, I'd like to meet him. As Mr. Microcosm, I would greet him. Faust. Alas, what am I, if I can, not reach for mankind's crown which merely mocks our senses craving like a star? Mephisto. You're in the end just what you are. Put wigs on with a million locks, and put your foot on high socks. You still remain just what you are. Faust. I gathered up and piled high, in vain the treasures of the human mind. When I sat down at last, I cannot find new strength within, it is all dry. My stature has not grown a whit, no closer to the infinite. Mephisto. Well, my good sir, to put it crudely, you see matters just as they lie. We have to look at them more shrewdly, or all life's pleasures shall pass us by. Your hands and feet, indeed that's trite, and head and seat are yours alone, yet all in which I find delight. Should they be less my own? Should I buy myself 6 steeds? I buy their strength. While I recline, I dash along at whirlwind speeds, for their 2 dozen legs are mine. Come on, let your reflections rest, and plunge into the world with zest. I say, the man that speculates is like a beast that in the sand, led by an evil spirit, round and round gyrates, and all about lies gorgeous pasture land. Faust. How shall we set about it? Mephisto. Simply leave. What torture room is this? What sight of grief? Is this the noble life of prudence? You bore yourself and bore your students. Oh, let your neighbor, Mr. Ponch, live so. Why work hard, threshing straw when it's a noise? The best that you could ever know. You may not tell the little boys. Right now I hear one in the aisle. Faust. I simply cannot face the lad. Mephisto. The poor chap waited quite a while. I do not want him to leave sad. Give me your cap and gown, not bad. With this, Mephisto dresses himself up. This mask ought to look exquisite. Now you can leave things to my wit. Some 15 minutes should be all I need. Meanwhile, get ready for our trip, and speed. Faust then leaves the room. We now see Mephisto in Faust's long robe. Have but contempt for reason and for science. Man's noblest force burns with defiance. Subscribe to magic and illusion. The Lord of Lides aids your confusion. And Pectordo, I hold you tight. The spirit which he received that night sweeps ever onward with unbridled might. Its hasty striving is so great, it leaps over the earth's delights. Though life I'll drag him at a rate, through shallow triviality that he shall writhe and suffocate. And his insatiability, with greedy lips, shall see the choicest plate, and ask in vain for all that he would cherish. And were he not that devil's mate, and had not signed, he still must perish. With this, a student enters. The student, I've arrived quite recently, and come full of humility, to meet that giant intellect, whom I'll refer to with respect. Mephisto, that is a charming pleasantry. A man as others are, you see. Have you already called elsewhere? Student, I pray you, take me in your care. I am, believe me, quite sincere. Have some odd cash and lots of cheer. My mother scarcely let me go, but there is much I hope to know. Mephisto, this is just the place for you to stay. Student, to be frank, I should like to run away. I cannot say I like these walls, these gloomy rooms and somber halls. It feels so narrow, and I see no patch of green, no single tree. And in the auditorium, my hearing, sight, and thought grow numb. Mephisto, that is a question of mere habit. The child offered the mother's breast will not in the beginning grab it, but soon it clings to it with zest. And thus at wisdom's copious breast, you'll drink each day with greater zest. Student, I'll hang around her neck enraptured. But tell me first, how was she captured? Mephisto, before we get into my views, which department do you choose? Student, I should like to erudite, and from the earth to heaven's height, know every law and every action. Nature and science is what I need. Mephisto, this is the way. You just proceed and scrupulously shun distraction. Student, body and soul, I'm a devotee, though naturally everybody prays for some free time and liberty or pleasant summer holidays. Mephisto, use well your time, so swiftly it runs on. Be orderly, and time is one. My friend, I shall be pedagogic, and say you ought to start with logic, for thus your mind is trained and braced, in Spanish boots it will be laced, that on the road of thought may be, it henceforth creep more thoughtfully, and it does not crisscross here and there, will-o'-the-wisping through the air. Days will be spent to let you know that what you once did at one blow, like eating and drinking so easy and free, can only be done with 1, 2, 3. Yet the web of thought has no creases, and is more like a weaver's masterpieces. One step, 1,000 threads arise. Hither and thither shoots each shuttle. The threads flow on unseen and subtle. Each blow affects 1,000 ties. The philosopher comes with analyses, and proves it had to be like this. The first was so, the second so, and hence the third and fourth was so. And were not the first and second here, then the third and fourth could never appear. That is what all the students believe, but they never learned to weave. Who would study and describe the living starts by driving the spirit out of the parts. In the palm of his hand he holds all the sections, lacks nothing except the spirit's connections. Enchirisis naturae, the chemists baptize it, mock themselves, and don't realize it. Student, I did not quite get everything. Mephisto, that will improve with studying. You will reduce things by and also learn to classify. Student, I feel so dazed by all you said, as if a mill went around in my head. Mephisto, then, without further circumvention, give metaphysics your attention. There seek profoundly to attain what does not fit the human brain. Whether you do or you do not understand, an impressive word is always at hand. But now, during your first half year, keep above all our order here. 5 hours a day, you understand, and when the bell peals, be on hand. Before you come, you must prepare, read every paragraph with care, lest you, forbid, should overlook that all he says is in the book, but write down everything engrossed, as if you took dictation from the Holy Ghost. Student, don't say that twice. I understood. I see how useful it is to write. For what we possess black and white, we can take home and keep for good. Mephisto, but choose a field of concentration. Student, I have no hankering for jurisprudence. Mephisto, for that I cannot blame the students. I know the science is a blight. The laws and statutes of a nation are an inherited disease. from generation unto generation, and place to place they drag on by degrees. Wisdom becomes nonsense, kindness oppression, to be a grandson is a curse. The right that is innate to us is not discussed by either profession. Student, my scorn is heightened by your speech. Happy the man that you would teach. I almost think theology would pay. Mephisto, I should not wish to lead you astray. When it comes to this discipline, the way is hard to find. Wrong roads abound, and lots of hidden poison lies around, which one can scarcely tell for medicine. Hence, too, it would be best you heard one only and staked all upon your master's word. Yes, stick to words at any rate. There never was a surer gate into the temple, certainty. Student, yet some idea there must be. Mephisto. All right, but do not plague yourself too anxiously. From just where no words are, where no ideas are, the proper word is never far. With words a dispute can be won, with words a system can be spun. In words one can believe unshaken, and from a word no title can be taken. Student, forgive, I hold you up with many questions, but there is one more thing I'd like to see. Regarding medicine, maybe, you have some powerful suggestions? 3 years go by so very fast, and God, the field is all too fast. If but a little hint is shown, one can attempt to find one's way. Mephisto, quietly, to the side. I am so sick of this pedantic tone. The devil now again I'll play. The spirit of medicine is easy to know, though the macro and microcosm you breeze, and in the end you let it go, as God may please. In vain you roam about to study science, for each learns only what he can. He places on the moment his reliance, he is the proper man. You are quite handsome, have good sense, and no doubt you have courage too. And if you have self-confidence, then others will confide in you, and give the women special care, their everlasting sighs and groans in thousand tones are cured at one point everywhere. And if you seem halfway discreet, they will be lying at your feet. First, your degree inspires trust, and as if your art had scarcely any fears. Right at the start, remove her clothes and touch her bust, things for which others wait for years and years. Learn well the little pulse to squeeze, and with a knowing fiery glance you seize her freely round her slender waist to see how tightly she is laced. Student. That looks so much better, sir. For one sees how and where. Mephisto. Gray, my dear friend, is every theory, and green alone life's golden tree. Mephisto. All this, student. All this seems like a dream, I swear. Could I impose on you some time again and drink more words of wisdom then? Mephisto. What can I give you? You shall get. Student. Alas, I cannot go quite yet. My album I must give to you. Please, sir, show me this favor too. Mephisto. All right. He takes the book and writes inside of it, then hands the book back. Student. Eritis sicut dies scientes bonum e melum. The student closes the book reverently and then takes his leave. Mephisto. Follow the ancient text in my relation. The snake, your very likeness to God, will yet make you quiver and quake. And this will conclude this reading. We will pick this back up later. When we re-begin the story, we will see Faust enter into the study, ready to go.